doing?
I was writing down some stuff.
You sleepy?
No. Okay, what time you gotta get up in the morning?
I don't. Let me know when you outside.
Alright.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Yo!
You're now listening to a Bobby Johnson. Hey, my main bitch and my savage man, I can get 2 for. Battle, pull me up on each of pink. I need to go.
Tune in to Too Much Media.
If you had to start over right now from scratch, do you feel like you'd be able to do it all over again?
It'll take like 3 months.
3 months, you could do it.
2, maybe 2.
Now you're stressing.
Maybe 2. I'm just saying, like, whatever's going on, whatever is hot, I would focus on that at first. And then I would put my YouTube videos on TikTok with the correct hashtags and the correct sounds. And once people start knowing my face well enough, I would start streaming and reacting to Kai, Aiden, Speed, and throwing those reactions on TikTok. And then, I would start like making myself a peer of theirs. And then eventually people will like start mentioning me, of course, with them.
And then you're in there.
I'm in the dough then.
Wow, you just laid out the perfect blueprint.
Nah, but it's easy though. That's how I look at
Okay,
it.
guys, welcome back to the Creative Success Course. In today's video, I clipped in the beginning the video of Duke Dennis explaining to the public how to become famous if he were to need to go back to square one and start from 0 subscribers/followers again. And he gave step-by-step process of what he would do and how he would do it. Now, for the Creative Success Course, this is obviously a great topic for us to get into for obvious reasons of, one, if you are creatively inclined, how do you get your work out there easier? And 2, just as a creative thought experiment, even if that's not your goal, because I do know at times not every creative person is going to have the same goal of being outwardly motivated by other people's eyes on their creativity. Some creativity is meant just for yourself. Some of us are creatives who like to practice their crafts for personal development and increase in self-mastery. Others have higher intentions where they want to expand their gift to the world and have it heard by the masses. Either way, I do think it's a good thought experiment, because whether you like it or not, if you're creatively inclined, you never know how your work might end up reaching the masses in one way or another. If you're creative, why not just have the conversation? It's an interesting topic, whether or not you are seeking to be popular or are not popular. It's like, what do people like talking about more than fame? Like, I feel like this is an interesting topic. And I also thought that this was a good video of like thinking about how like you can kind of give people the recipe bar for bar, step by step, but that doesn't mean everyone's gonna cook the food. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, even if you give someone a recipe book, in order for that recipe book to mean anything, they have to actually get into the kitchen and start cooking. So it's also to say, like, as a creative, don't be afraid to hand out your process to people, because look how quick and easily Duke was willing to give out the information and explain it in such a simplistic, free. People will gatekeep this information and call it a course. Okay, he gave it to you literally. I'll count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps. He gave you 8 steps quickly off the dome of exactly what he would do and how he would do it and how quickly it would work if he were to do it. And still, many people will never take heed to that advice and will get frustrated if they don't see success. And not to say that his step-by-step is the only process that works, but it's like there is a lot of other ways that could potentially work if you get creative. But it's just to say that oftentimes you are around other creatives, or you as yourself as a creative sometimes want to gatekeep information or your process and what's going on in order to not see others succeed. But it's like, you can give them the information and it depends on how they use it, whether or not it's even going to be successful. So why already assume in your head such negative intentions about passing out information, such as like, oh yeah, I got to keep that one, when even if you give it, I promise you only like 2% of the people are actually going to follow suit with your process, and especially your process step by step, the exact way you do it. There's always going to be a little razzle dazzle that you added that no one else did, that the information is also very circumstantial evidence. But it's like, yeah, like, you know, this was also like, I wanted to applaud the video because he was so upfront and willing to give the information without any sort of like hesitation or like, you know, second thought of like, oh yeah, you just like nonchalance of like, oh yeah, you just do, like, it's like, I don't know, I would just do it. Like, it would just be easy for me. I'm just like that. Like, he could have really used that opportunity to stroke his own ego of saying like, he just always been like that or something like that. Like, he, like, you know, but he took that opportunity instead to try to educate people as simply as he can. Because at the end of the day, when you overcomplicate a process, that's how you know it's shaky. That process doesn't work that well. A simple process means guaranteed results, in my opinion, is what I found in my research, is that the simpler the process, the more guaranteed the results are. That's why, for example, working out is such a guaranteed process. It's like, it's simple. All you have to do is work out more and you'll start to see results in whatever part you're working out. Like, it's very A plus B equals AB. Like, it's really just right there for you, you know? So, that's why I feel like it was also important information to go through, because I feel that the simplicity of it means that it is guaranteed to work. And when I thought about his advice too, I said to myself, yeah, if I look back at other people who are popular, that is basically what they all have done now that I look back and think about it. Like, even think about something as simple as the mukbangers. They all started finding out foods that people like to, specific foods. What we found out from mukbangers is that humans are inclined to watch people eat noodles, things with cheese that stretches for far distances, and things that are colored any special color that food shouldn't be. Like, if you do any of those three things when it comes to food, you're guaranteed success as a mukbanger. Which, isn't that basically the gamer boy version of, yeah, then I would start reacting to Kai and who else and whatever else people that he was saying in the video that he would react to. It's like, okay, you're trying to be gamer popular, so you talk about the gamers. I'm trying to be mukbang popular, so I eat these foods. You see? So it's also, that's why it's like, I also believe giving out information is something like you should always try to do, because at the end of the day, it takes a critical mind to be able to filter through your information enough to specialize it to themselves. Like, you have to actually have a type of brain that would hear an advice that he gave you like that and be able to apply it to 10,000 things. Somebody would hear that and be like, dang, if only I knew how to video game, then I could be famous like Duke. Like, are you slow? No. Okay, he's saying that that's what he would do because he's Duke and he likes video games and those other boys like video games, so that's what they would do. It's like, okay, you don't like video games. You like soccer. So you would make videos constantly talking about whoever the top soccer players are and always mention them. Like, you wouldn't use his exact recipe, And when you're on your lives, you would be playing soccer all the time. You would filter it to your own specialty of people you want to do. And this advice, I feel like, is why it's such a good advice, is because it can be like used in so many contexts, especially niching to like a very certain type of popularity you might want to have. Because like, let's say you wanted to be like in the comedy space, but at the same time the gaming space, but at the same time the athletic space, you would then take the most talked about things from each of those subjects, do it all at once, and then also speak in those terminologies within each other's videos. So then that way it breeds a type of audience that would be specifically interested in all three things. Do you see? So like, because if you were to overly get into one subject, such as just gaming all the time, then you're not in that niche. That's why he's named specific people like Kai, because Kai is like three things at once, two, just as Duke would be, which it would be like funny, yet gaming, yet also athletic, like mixing three things together. So they're both mixing three things together. That's why. Okay, so now I'm starting to get into his process. Let's just go through his process step by step so I can talk about them each fluidly. The first thing he said he would do is focus on whatever's hot on YouTube. So like whatever is going on that is super popular on YouTube right now, that's what he would focus on. So for example, me in this video, I've discussed Duke because I was just on TikTok and I saw it was going viral that Duke has 8 kids. Now, whether or not he has 8 kids, I'm not sure. I just saw it on TikTok. If he does have 8 kids or does not have 8 kids, I don't really care. So I'm not focusing on that part about him in this video, but just the fact that his name has been circulating a lot right now will bring people to this video, and even they might want to understand more about creativity potentially, but also have a chance of hearing someone's perspective on Duke himself on a third party, even if it doesn't have to do with the 8 kids. Some people do. Like once someone's like kind of stuck in the algorithm and they're starting to listen to a specific genre of type of subject, the algorithm will just keep sending videos that has anything to do with that subject. And the way people get obsessed about Duke and like overall people who are in celebrity spaces as a whole, that they have the potential to watch this video and watch a significant amount of the video just at the off chance of hearing more information about Duke and whatever the heck he may or may not be having going on, and what a third party thinks about him, so that they can also in their own mind conceptualize decide what they think about him too. Because a lot of times that's what people are using social media for as well, is to decide what they think. That's why they specifically make their algorithm into things that they're interested in, so they can think about those things more. And then once they're into those things that they think about, they find the other people who are into those things, and then those other people's opinions about that subject influences their own opinion. That's why they call the other people like Duke influencers, because you're gonna decide what you think about Duke based off what I start saying about Duke in this video, / you are going to decide what you think based off what Duke thinks too. So that's how it works, So first things first, he would focus on what's hot on YouTube, which I have done myself in this video to kind of show that the advice is good advice. Okay, next he would take those videos that he posted on YouTube about popular things, and then he would put it on TikTok with the right sounds and the right hashtags. So in that process right there, he is giving you the information without telling you his own personal sauce. Do you see why simplifying information is so vital to your own creative process? This way you can pass out information without seeming like a gatekeeper, while also keeping what your specific process is. He did that also without boring the viewer of like overly getting into what he's doing with the hashtags and the sounds, which someone who's not interested in that and just came to see him kind of talk freely wouldn't want to hear about. He kind of skimmed over that information, but somebody who's really interested in that information would hear that he said that and say, okay, so that means what I need to figure out is what are the good hashtags and the sounds, because he gave me this, he gave me that. This is the information that I noticed he didn't give. But someone who's not interested in that would hear that and be like, okay, good. So moving on, like they would be happy that he moved on. But the person who noticed that is going to have to do the digging themselves, which is something that you need to be willing to do if you're actually serious about doing anything in life. There's always going to be a missing piece of information that you're going to have to point out quickly and figure out how to find out where that information lies. So I feel like that was an important part about the video, about what he was mentioning of like, okay, the sounds and the hashtags he would use, that's his sauce. So he didn't want to give that up. He didn't, but he still did it. But he still told you what he would do in a way where you can find the information that he left out. Okay, next. Once he gets momentum going with the YouTube videos and the TikToks, he would then start to react to his peers. So his desired peers. So he said that he would start reacting to Kai and them. I literally don't remember who else he said, but Kai and them. He would start reacting to their videos because in his head, that's who he would want to be associated with in the future. Now, for example, this video right now, I did mention how I used the fact that Duke's name is popular in the media right now, which is why I decided to use the creative success course lesson based off information that he's given. But what about me considering myself a peer with somebody like Duke? Well, that is also why I specifically picked the video of him discussing how he would get his content career back up, because that's a creative endeavor of his, and I do consider myself a peer in the creative realm. Now, do I consider myself gaming and all that other stuff he discusses, or like that gossip stuff of like he got eight kids on the way? No, that's why I didn't pick any of those videos to go along with this video. I picked the video that I want to be peer-minded with him in. So even down to that detail, I made sure to think of in my video in order to understand what is the right type of following that I'm also trying to build. What is the right type of peer group that I am trying to be associated with when people are thinking of others to drag me into as they are picking up on my channel, right? Okay, so yes, so speak about them like your peers, and then after he would react to his Kai and them's videos, because those are his desired peers, he would then put those reactions on TikTok. So he would take his streaming videos of him reacting to these people and put those videos on TikTok so that they can get more of a buzz. And then, okay, so let's talk about TikTok. For example, me, I don't post TikToks. So I'm like, I do feel as though every time he mentions doing a long form of content, he always mentions making a short form of that content in order to post onto TikTok, in order to increase the likelihood of pulling in people who are looking through quickly to find him for longer form content. So I do feel as though that is an important line to intake if you are trying to increase your viewership rapidly, which is why he did say he thinks it would only take a month or 2 months, 3 months, something like that. No more than 3 months, he said, and he could be back on top. Duke Dennis back at it again. So I feel as though streamlining your content would be what you would do if that's what you were seeking. I personally don't post on TikTok currently. I'm not saying I will never or will soon, but I'm just saying that streamlining is what I think is why he said to add that to the process and what it was meant to make him come back as quick as he dang near left, right? Yes, and I think the key he was also saying is that when he's reacting to their videos, speaking about them as though they're already peers. What does that sound like to you? I feel like that sounds like something a lot of people like to talk about in current days, which is manifestation. And there's an important lesson I feel there is to learn in manifestation through what Duke is talking about right there, of talking about people who are already bigger than him on his content and speaking about them like their peers before they are his peers. I feel as though this is a way to this is an example of physically enacting your manifestation at the highest degree, to the point of what's it called, having outward action to go along with those manifestations. Because sometimes we talk about manifesting, but we also forget about the importance of action. And with that, he taught you how to manifest and how to actually make the manifestation work. Because if we look at his process, it sounds like the key to success to me, right? So it's like, okay, he's telling you this 100% works, and I've added something you like of manifestation, but this is manifestation with action. Always try to mix your manifestations with action. So let's say you are manifesting a certain thing. Do some sort of action to go along with the manifestation in order to increase the power and the strength of the manifestation. Do two things at once. You need to have two things going at once at all times possible. If you can find a way to do more than one thing at once, always try to take that route. Now, and then after a while, he said people will start mentioning him along with that peer group. See, so not only did he make that manifestation in his whole own head that this is my peer group because they like all these three subjects that I like, but he also allowed other people to add to his manifestation by making them have to see him talk like that. And then once it was associated in enough people's consciousness as a thought of them being associated, it then automatically becomes the truth. It is what it's said to be. Do you see? So I feel as though that was very key as to what gave me the thought and the idea that this is really the key. Like, this is the sauce. This is what we all need to be taking heed of and taking advice from. And one of the biggest takeaways I also took when I watched this short and I saw him break down coming back from obscurity after being on top of the world is that once you learn a process, once you figure out how to get something done, there's no taking it away from you. Like, regardless of like, okay, you took it away in the physical form, in material terms, you took it away. I have 0 subscribers, 0 followers, but now I always have the knowledge of how to get subscribers again. So regardless of you taking subscribers away, I know what to do in order to bring them back. So are they ever really taken away? That's why it's so important that when you get into a creative process, is that key word, process. Once you know the process, it doesn't matter what's left. Let's say you know how to build a house. Even if all I gave you was toothpicks, you could reconstruct a house out of toothpicks, like a small, tiny toothpick formed house, because you know what it needs to take to build a house, no matter what size or what materials that are left at you. You could kind of make it shake. The process itself is the most important part of your creativity. What you materially make out of the creativity is a very small aspect of it. It really doesn't matter. Just make whatever at some points. Like, not all the time, but I'm just saying that sometimes it's not good to overly internalize with the creations made of the creative process. It's the process itself, the knowledge of knowing what needs to be done in order to make this happen, that is what's truly fruitful. Duke looked so chill and happy in that video. You know why? Because he knows that. Like, once he said it so easily, so simply. He broke it down in literally 8 steps without even realizing that's what he did. He could write a book with the 8 steps to content popularity and make millions off of it. And he just sat there and gave it to you in 30 seconds, bro. And that's why he looks so chill and relaxed, because he understands the process. And he knows, regardless of any material things that are taken away from him, around him at any moment, the process is with him in a way that can't be taken away. He understands what steps need to be done to get back where whatever is taken. And if you look at a lot of popular content creators online, you'll notice that's the case for most of them. Like, look at even Nikocado Avocado, right? He was a vegan YouTuber who was not popular, but fairly popular enough to know what it took to be popular on YouTube. Once he understood the process of how to be popular on YouTube, did he use it for good? Look, it can be argued whether or not what he's done is for good, but I'm going to make a video about him one day, but it could be argued whether or not what he did was done for good. But regardless of that, you can't say that he doesn't understand what it takes to be popular on YouTube, that he can't automatically become the front page news in a moment's notice and know exactly what to do to get that level of following, subscribers, engagement, whatever social media new age terminology you want to use for being the most talked about creation of the day. He knows what it takes to do that, because he started off as a vegan YouTuber with no subscribers and saw what everyone who had subscribers was doing, and he has figured that out to such a high degree that this man, I swear to God, go on his channel right now. There's not one video that doesn't have 1 million views. Every single video he posts gets minimum. And I'm not even starting to discuss the amount of videos the really popular ones have. The minimum his videos get is 1 million views. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. So it's like, that's just to go to show you that once you understand what it takes to do that, you can't take that away. Like, the process is what matters regardless of what creative endeavor. That's why I said this is going to be a good video for any creative, regardless of you're wanting to be popular or not, or you're seeking validation and mass appeal when you're making creative things. Some people just want to be creative for the sake of being creative because their life doesn't feel like it's worth living without them creating, right? So they're just going to be doing it at home. They're making stuff in their house. They're making their house really beautiful. Like, just everywhere they go, they're improving it, which I have a video coming soon about that too. Like, everywhere they go, they're just improving it. They're just being creative for the sake of being creative. And that is their full life's purpose. Even for them, this is an important lesson to understand of, like, understanding how to get something done is going to be your most important thing to do if you are seeking to increase your creativity. Learning a new process can be applied to a lot of other processes, as well as learning the process itself can never be taken away from you, even if you don't get something sustainable or something worth mentioning out of the creation itself. If the creation itself comes and you're like, ugh, whatever, at least now you know what the process takes to get whatever. You now know that. That can't be taken away. And that's what Duke, I think, ultimately taught us in this video. That I feel like if I were to take away the most important part for me personally, it wasn't even how to be popular on YouTube or TikTok or be a popular person as a whole. Like, I feel like it's kind of obvious that, you know, how to get attention, you know? But, like, I feel as though the most important part to me was that look how peaceful your life is when you know something that can't be taken away from you. When you have information that is more vital than what that information breeds. The information itself is more valuable because now it can never be taken away again, you know? And that's that level of comfort, look how many people have even come back because they know the process. Bro, we still talk about Chris Sales to this day. He knows how to keep his name in our mouths. Whether you like it or not, who's someone that also is never gonna not be popular? Like there's like certain people who just forever know how to keep the attention going on the creativity side of content creation because they know the process. They know what it takes. It's too late. Like they've been here too long. Bretman Rock, for example, is another good example. He always switches it up and still knows how to pull that audience to stay with him with it. Like, it's just like, once you understand, that's more valuable than anything else that you can have from it, in my opinion. But yeah, bye.